Well, welcome back, everybody. You had a lunchtime, you got to fill the bellies, and now I'm going to fill your minds with all things STIS COVID related setup for elementary. So, thank you for joining us here today. One thing I just want to share with you is this session is being recorded, and a copy of the recording of the webinar will be on this website, bit.ly/STIS EdTech. And that same website has tutorial videos and guides and how-tos for all things STIS COVID-related setup. Let me put that in the Q&A for you, so you have a link to that website. And we'll continue to keep that updated as new resources are being created. So there's the website. And just a couple MCS virtual PD norms. Participants must participate. There you go, in the training. You can use the Q&A to participate. So you have a chat built into Microsoft Teams live events. Use that. We have a moderator I'll introduce here in the next slide, and we'll be curating your questions and answering them. Please be engaged in the session, and we are on time. We're right here at 1 o'clock. We're ready to start. We are ready to rock and roll. So hello, everybody. My name is Matthew Ketchum, Director of Educational Technology, IETS, and I will be your helpful guide through this STIS process. With me moderating the Q&A is the one and only Rachel Howenstein, ELA Coordinator with CIPD. The copy of this presentation will be on the website that I had just mentioned, but you can also get a direct link to this at bit.ly/STIS elementary setup. Today, we're going to look at show and tell of a slide deck. So I'm going to go through this PowerPoint, do a little bit of show and tell, and then I'll do a live demonstration of doing the actual steps. So the PowerPoint show and tell will be about how to find these different apps that we're going to be using in the MCS app portal, overview of this STIS COVID-related setup. What does it look like in PowerSchool for that attendance code? What does it look like in Schoology for creating that COVID-related folder and those COVID-related assignments? And then we'll take a look at Google Drive, that Google timesheet that's generated. And like I mentioned, definitely going to do an authentic real-life demonstration. We'll go into these apps. We'll do the steps that we're seeing here. I will be taking questions, so feel free to put the questions in the Q&A, and Rachel will be moderating the Q&A. She'll be able to help out, respond to questions. She'll also be curating them. So I'm going to take questions towards the end of this show and tell. After I show how to create it in Schoology, I'll take some questions about that whole process, and then I'll demonstrate the Google timesheet and then take questions after that part. All right, to begin, to find all of these technology apps that are being mentioned with the setup, there's Power Teacher for the attendance, there's Schoology for the COVID-related folders and assignments, there's Google Drive for this Google timesheet. So you have three main apps that you would be using to do the setup. As you can see in this graphic, number one in the top left corner in this picture, number one is how do you find the MCS app portal to get to all of these apps? Well, from your school website or the district website, you would just click Staff tab at the very top and then choose Staff Applications. Step two is you would click on MCS app portal. And then step three, that's what the MCS app portal looks like, and you just sign in with your username and password. Same way you sign into your teacher computer device. And then those are what the apps look like in the MCS app portal for Power Teacher, Schoology, and Google Drive. And I'll demonstrate going to the MCS app portal on how to find them. So the first thing I want to show you is a little flow chart, and you saw this earlier today. And that's kind of how I broke out the slide deck, is based on these different pieces. So we have the Power School part that's done where a student is on a COVID-related leave. That attendance is marked in Power School attendance by the front office. Show you what that looks like here in the next slide. Then there's the Schoology piece. So students out in COVID-related absence, a teacher in Schoology will have a COVID-related folder. They'll have CR assignments, COVID-related assignments, and those assignments name, as you saw this morning, have a certain naming convention we'll go over again. And then once a student returns and they're present, there is a Google timesheet that's automatically generated uniquely for that student and shared to the teacher to complete. So anything you see in purple is what the teacher would do. So the teacher's got to create that COVID-related folder in Schoology, the COVID-related assignments in Schoology, and then at the end of the whole process, there's a Google timesheet that teacher just completes for overall percentage and a digital signature. So Power School piece, again, you can get to Power Teacher from MCS app portal to see your attendance. And on the right-hand side, that's what it looks like. The CR attendance, the CR code would appear in your Power Teacher attendance. And that's some demonstration of what that looks like in your attendance there. But once you see a student out on CR attendance code, you know, as a teacher, you're going to want to make sure you have that CR-assignments for those dates for any students that would be absent. All right, the Schoology piece, what that looks like. So Schoology, again, you can get to the MCS app portal to go into Schoology and do the setup for the folder and assignments. When you log into Schoology, you're going to want to go to courses and your homeroom course. So you're going to want to go to the homeroom within your courses, and we'll do a live demonstration. You'll see how I get there. But you're going to be doing this in your homeroom for elementary. And you're going to be creating a COVID-related work folder, and you're going to be creating weekly folders. And I'll show you how to create those folders within your homeroom course. Inside those weekly folders, you'll be creating COVID-related assignments. And those have a very specific naming convention we'll look at here in the slide, in the next slide. But in Schoology, you're using the Add Materials button, you're doing the Add Assignments, and you're giving it a name. And the name has a very specific naming convention. It's the CR dash, and it has a date code, and that's 2 digits for the year, 2 digits for the month, and 2 digits for the day. For, let's say, a date that might be, let's say, November 8th. To put in an 8 for the day, you would need that leading 0. So it'd be 08. So you do need 2 digits for each of those. So it'll be CR dash, the date, underscore, the assignment name, and in parentheses, the minutes, the length. And we'll demonstrate that some more. The description would be the activities that the student would be working on, different steps and activities that you can list out. And then we're going to make sure that we leave it ungraded as the grading category. This is a sample what it would look like. On the left-hand side, you're seeing a COVID-related work folder. Then inside that folder, you have those daily Teams meeting link. We definitely have a Microsoft Teams workshop. So if you haven't taken that yet, your workshop 4, I believe, starts at 2 o'clock here today. Definitely take that workshop. So there's still a session of Microsoft Teams on the schedule for today. That will show you how to do the daily Teams link and the sub link. But what you're seeing, what we're talking about right now is the weekly folder and then the daily assignments on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, you're just seeing the overall, that weekly folder, and it has those 5 different daily assignments with that correct naming convention. So this is the naming convention. So no spaces at all, the whole thing, no spaces. And it's CR dash, the year, the month, the day, 2 digits for each of them, underscore, assignment title, parentheses, the minutes. And that is the naming of the daily assignment. So that's what's required, is that naming convention. All right. Then when the student is present, they're back from their CR absence, COVID-related absence. Student is present now. Once the student is present, then in Google Drive, automatically shared to the teacher is a Google Sheet that's unique to the student for when the student was out on their COVID-related absence. And again, you can get to Google Drive to the MCS app portal. And this is what it would look like, and I'll do a live demonstration of this as well. But once you're at Google Drive, step 1, you'll click Shared with Me. Step 2, you'll see a folder with your name, the teacher's name. Step 3, that's if you, for more of our 7-12 colleagues, they have different periods. For elementary, you'll just have your teacher name, number 2. And inside the teacher folder will be what you see in step 4 here. There'll be Google Sheets unique to each student who is out and is now present that had a COVID-related absence. And each of those sheet names will be the student name, the student ID number, the COVID-related start date and end date will be part of the whole name of that sheet. And let's take a look at what one of these sheets look like. So only the purple area, as was mentioned, is what a teacher would complete. And the purple area is in the top right-hand corner. It has one box that you would type the overall assignment completion. So if they complete 80% of the work, 90% of the work, 100% of the work, you would put that number there. Then there's a signature that you'll do a digital signature, and you do that right within the Google timesheet, and I'll show you how in my demonstration. So that's what the teacher would complete. The Google timesheet saves automatically. You don't have to save it. You don't have to send it off to anyone. You just complete that one overall completion number and a digital signature. The other things that are going on in this sheet are the first column, column A there that you see in the green. That's auto-completed from Schoology. So that's pulling those CR-assignments by the date, and it's pulling them by the date of the contract. You remember this file is the start and end date of that COVID-related absence for the student. So it's only pulling CR-dates that fit within that student's time they were out. So that's automatically going to pull for you from your homeroom course. Then the yellow is optional for a teacher, and that's something that might be useful for you as a teacher. Keep notes, percent correct on each assignment, any remarks or notes that you have for keeping track once you start grading. Then the red area that you see next to the purple area that you would complete as a teacher, the red area it's automatically creating a student due date. So based on when the student returns, how long they were out, how many days do they have until they have to complete those assignments. So automatically creates that student due date for you. And it's creating a teacher due date. When does the teacher need to complete this sheet by? So I'll have that date already pre-made in the sheet for you. In the different times that were shared out today, so the live Teams meeting, that's 20 minutes daily. And then the daily assignments, so Schoology assignments that we're going to look at, those have different time requirements daily for different grade levels. So TKK, it's 180 minutes. First through third grade is 230 minutes. Fourth through sixth grade is 240 minutes. And again, all of this is at the website, and I'll put it in the chat again. It's bit.ly/STIS EdTech, And I'll have a recording of today's webinar that you're watching, the copy of this presentation you're seeing. Plus we have how-to videos on how to do each of these steps. And we also have handouts and guides to help you out. Also on that website, CIPD has some really great additional tips for doing these assignments. And there's resources for elementary, resources for our friends in 712 as well on this website. So there's a section for CIPD supported resources, and there's some really great helpful areas that will help you out with working with this for each of your grade levels on that website. So let me put that in the chat. And while I do that, I'm going to head over next to go live. But Rachel, is there anything to address before I go live, or any questions, or heading over to the live environment?
Yeah, actually, a couple of things that you may want to show when you're in the live environment.
Okay.
First, a question came up about, obviously they have the COVID-related folder, the main folder. The question was asked, can they do subfolders by day? And then have the assignments live in the subfolders. That was one piece. The other was assignment due dates. What's the recommendation on putting due dates or not? How that should work. And then is it possible to have two CAMI documents on one assignment? So for example, if a teacher wanted to put an ELA document and a math document tied to the same CR assignment. So if you can show some of those
you
things.
got a good list here for me.
Yes,
Thank
you.
We got to two. I think we got a good time here. Yes, we can look at that when I go live. A couple things, no due dates. So we're not putting due dates on any of the COVID related assignments. So I do know that part. You just don't know when the student would be back when you're making those daily assignments, because you're making those on that day and the student hasn't returned yet. So you wouldn't know when their due date is for each different student on their absence. So no due dates. About the folder structure. Very open, however, that you want to make that work. The only thing that we're pulling is we're going to the homeroom course, and we are pulling any CR-name typed assignments. How the folder structure is, how the folder names are, we're not pulling any of that. So that's very open for that structure, just as long as they're a CR-naming convention assignment daily that can be pulled from your homework course. All right, good questions, Rachel. And then let's head over to the live environment. So I'm going to start going to the MCS app portal. And let me share my screen a little bit larger. Let's see here. There we go. So you can see more of the screen. And the first thing is you can go to your school website. You could go to the district website, and you would click staff at the very top. And then you would click staff applications. And then you would click MCS app portal. And you want to log in. If it has you sign in, just your district username and password. And this is how you get to all those apps that we'll be using. I have a lot on my screen, so I use the search a lot at the top. So if I was trying to find Power Teacher, just type it in, the keyword for the app, and you can see I can click on it here, Power Teacher. If I was looking for Schoology, just start typing that in. I can find Schoology. Really easy to go to the app. And then Google Drive. How do I get to my Google Drive? There it is. I just type the word Google, and here it's listed, Google Drive, and that's the one you would use right here, and you would click on it. So I'm going to go to Schoology first. So I'll type in Schoology, click on the Schoology app, and it's going to load Schoology for me, and it's really great. It's single sign-in, signs me in, and I am here in my Schoology. First thing you'll want to do is go to your homeroom course, and you can get to it either when you click courses. It might be on the grid here that you can get to, and you can see it says a grade level in the homeroom. So that's one way. The other way, if you don't see your homeroom on the grid, is when you click courses, on the right-hand side, when you click My Courses, then you'll have an alphabetical order of all your courses. So you would just find your homeroom course and click on the section link here to get into it. One question that came up in a previous workshop is, how do I get to my past year classes, the archive classes? And that's with this button right here. So if you're going to courses, My Courses, the archive button is right here, and you can get to any past school year courses or content that you might have made back then to use. So that's the archive button. So I'm going to head to my homeroom. So courses and homeroom. And you can see I've been having fun demonstrating. You only need one COVID-related work folder. So this is just a demonstration process here. But what I'm going to show you how to do is you would create your COVID-related work folder. And when I click on it, you'll be creating weekly folders. And again, this is just suggestions. I know there was some questions on the folder structure. Very open to what works for you. But when you click on this, this is what's going to be required is a CR- assignment that you make in Schoology. So that would be required. So again, it's a CR-, the date, the assignment name, no spaces. You have an underscore here, and then the length of minutes. And that part will be required. However you do your folder structure, we at least need a CR- naming convention of the assignment, as you see, to match when students are out on COVID-related leave. So that's what's going to be pulled is any CR- assignments from the Schoology course, the homeroom. All right, so let's look at how to create this. So to create these folders, you'll click the Add Materials button and click Add Folder. And then you'll give it a name at the top, and we'll call this COVID-related work. And you can pick a color and click Create. Then inside that folder, you click on it, and I can create weekly folders. So I'll go Add Materials, Add Folder, and I can put in the weekly folder name. So I'll do, let's say, October 18th through October 22nd. Again, you can pick a color that you like to use and click Create. And there's my weekly folder. So now we need to add some assignments to that weekly folder. So I'll click on the folder to get inside it. And I can see that I'm inside the folder. The folder's listed here. So now I'm going to create those Schoology assignments. So I use the Add Materials button, and I'll click Add Assignment. And when I do that, I can put the name here and any of the directions I might want to give a student or the activities the student is working on here in this description. So again, let's say I'm doing it for October 18th. The naming convention is CR-, and the naming convention is that 2-digit year, 2-digit month, 2-digit day. So the year would be 21. The month is October, so it'll be a 10. And the day is the 18th, so I put 1-8. So again, 2-digit for the year, 2-digit for the month, and then 2-digit for the day. And then I do underscore, and that's a little different. We don't always type underscores. So that's just the shift key and the minus key on the keyboard. And then you can put in whatever the assignment title is. If you're just making one assignment that's going to entail all the activities in this description, then you can just call it daily assignment. And then just put in the length of time that matches your grade level. So 1st through 3rd is 230 minutes. 4th through 6th is 240 minutes. And then TKK is 180 minutes. If you were going to create separate assignments, for that day, maybe a ELA or a math, that's okay to create separate assignments as long as you have they're for the same day, and that all your minutes add up to 230 minutes for your activities. So if you're creating one assignment with all the activities in the description, that's fine. If you were going to go a pathway that you're creating a ELA, a math, different type of assignments, just make sure you keep it on the same day, and all your minutes add to 230 minutes. Then you add your description, the activities that the student will be working on. A couple of things you can use here is right up here on where you have the text formatting buttons. You have a chain link, and that's an easy way. If you had a website link you could put here, give it a title, insert it, and it inserts a web link into your description. You can also add files. So if you use this file button, you can add any handouts or PDFs with the file button here. And then there was a question, there's the Cami button right here. So this Cami button, that's where you would attach the files that you were going to include for a Cami assignment through the Cami setup right there. No due date, category set to ungraded. The points would be how you would set them. If you're doing standards, you might just have it as a 4. You're going to give it, a standard 1 through 4. And then at the very bottom, some teachers leave this open. It's automatically turned on. Is that comments enabled? It's blue. That means it's on. And what that does is underneath the assignment, there's like a little chat that a student could post, a teacher can post. It's like a little discussion thread. But some teachers turn that off. So you just click it to turn it off. And then you click create. And then you have the assignment in here in the folder. Now you can duplicate these. So you can duplicate an assignment. You can duplicate a whole folder full of assignments. So the same steps for duplicating folders or assignments are the same. You would just find the gear to the right of them. So for assignment, the gear is right here. For a folder, the gear is just to the right of the folder itself as well. And so what you can do is just click that gear and save to resources. So this is how you duplicate either an assignment or a folder. You would just save it to resources and just click save. And then you would use add materials. Instead of creating a whole new assignment, just scroll on down. Towards the bottom of this menu is import from resources. So you click on that. And then you just go all the way to the bottom. For me, I have a lot in my resources, so I'm just going to scroll all the way to the bottom, and the newest things are listed at the bottom. And I just click the check mark, and I can import it. And it gets imported in. So it's almost like a copy and paste. So you just save the resources. Then in the add materials, import from resources to choose it back. The only thing is you got to give it a new title, right? Let's say this is a duplication, but you're making this for the 19th instead of the 18th. So just to the right of it, click the gear, click edit, and you just update it right up here at the top. Put it in the 19. Again, you can change up the, edit the description or the activities you have listed and save changes. That's pretty nice. And like I said, you can even do that for a folder. So a weekly folder that you have made here, just click the gear, save that to resources, and then you just go add materials, import from resources, and then it's always at the bottom. I have a lot in mind, so I have to scroll all the way to the bottom. There's the folder. Just check it. I'm going to import that folder and say, yep, I'm going to import it. And then the nice thing about it is I can just edit the folder name. And I can change it for the next day, which is the next week I meet, for the October 25th through the 29th. So I'll update that. And save changes. Then I click on that folder, and I'll have to update each of the title names as well. So just the gear, edit, and change that now to be the new dates, the 25th through the 29th. Kind of review if there's anything I need to update or change for any of the assignment description. Everything else stays the same. They just save it. So just updating those assignment titles. Here's a sample what assignment description was, as you can see. So the sample, the teachers having them would have attached some handouts to the assignment, has them reading them. They have a link to a video that they want the student to watch. They have some practices going into Dreambox, Amplify to work for it looks like 60 minutes within those apps as well. Remember, it's okay to list things here for on the different apps or digital curriculum. Just make sure in your digital curriculum you assign those activities to the students. Else when they go there, they won't have anything to do. So make sure if you're going to list a digital curriculum that it's assigned to them. Let's say in Wonders, you would have to go to Wonders and assign those to the student. But some really great ideas are Dreambox, Amplify that you can assign as well. All right, questions so far. That was quite a bit here, Rachel.
It was okay. So where we're getting some questions is in regards to, well, okay, first question. This is kind of a short one. Do we have to mark the category as ungraded?
Yes, and that's yes. It can't have a due date, and it has to have an ungraded.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And then, so in the model that we're showing where it's one daily assignment, we want to make sure we're clear about how one might put multiple Kami and or Google assignments attached to that one daily assignment.
Yeah, that was a good question, and I'll have to create some resources back on that. I don't know the answer to that without testing it.
Okay, well then, because there was, I think, a couple who had that, and I think that's it. Let's see, let me read this one. Do we need to put minutes on each assignment, or can we just put the minutes in the title of the assignment?
Yeah, so what's required is definitely that naming convention, as we mentioned here at the top. I think what you might see in this sample that a teacher had put together is that they're just kind of giving the student, I guess, a reference for how long to be in certain apps as an activity.
Okay, and then everything we're talking about is specific to the teacher of record is doing this piece. So for example, in CLTs, resource teachers, etc., are not following this process. Is that? I have a teacher asking, do resource teachers have to do this as well?
So I would definitely, if you have a homeroom course in Schoology, you know, and you have attendance for students, then it would be required for those teachers. Other certificated educators, I think talking with your school site administration, how they can support and help out, they can have those discussions at the local site.
Okay. And can you address again I think you answered it, but I just want to be sure. They do their daily or their COVID related folder, and then within that, can they have a Monday folder, Tuesday folder, Wednesday folder, or does it need to just be the COVID related folder and then the assignments listed?
Yeah, so I haven't gone here extensively yet, but it is on the website I have pushed out for how-to videos. In our Schoology groups, there is a learning resource group, and inside there is a resources. And again, there's an actual video just on what I'm showing you right now, this additional pathway in the STIS EdTech website I keep sharing out today in our chat for the tutorials. But if I click resources, we go to our school year, and there's an independent study folder, and it has grade levels. Let's see if I pick a good folder here. And in it, they have created for that grade level the CR listings that you could copy to a course. And the video shows how to do all this. But this is the assignment. Then they have separated the assignment. So this is one idea for that Monday through Friday. And then they separated the actual activities in separate folders. So this is an additional pathway, and it wasn't explicitly part of this training today, but this is an additional pathway. And on that website, I keep mentioning that I'm sharing out with y'all, is it's this. Under TK6 has the how-to videos for the setup, the Google time sheets. But if you come on down to CIPD supported resources, you're going to see there's a video for this additional pathway and link to that learning resource group I was just sharing and how to access that group. So that might be an additional way, or even to look at it, right? I think that might be a good example for some of the questions I'm hearing. Maybe even look at what they have created for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday folders and see if that might match an idea you had. So there are some CIPD supported resources as well here. And that might be closer. Let's see, if I click on it, they're having the student do these activities in it. And the video will definitely show you how to get here, how to add these to your homeroom course. That's on the website. And oops, where is it at? There it is, under CIPD resources, right here, the additional pathway video.
Okay, I think we're up to date on questions. There's a few more that I'm reading, but we'll get to those at the end.
Okay, and we can always return back here and look at this. The next thing I wanted to show you was the Google time sheet. So again, once a student returns on COVID-related leave, automatically, once they're present, then a Google timesheet is created for the teacher and shared with them in Google Drive. So in the MCS app portal, again, I can get to my Google Drive. There we go, click on it. And on the left-hand side is the shared with me. Okay, zoom in a bit. On the left-hand side is the shared with me. And you'll see a folder with your name on it. So shared with you will be a folder with your teacher name, and I'll double click. And inside there would be a list of these Google Sheets, and it'll be the student name, their ID, the start and end dates of their COVID-related absence. And you double click on that student sheet. And this is what it looks like. And here, I'll zoom in on this a bit too. So you're seeing this column A it's pulling in based on the dates here of the contract the student was out. It's pulling just those CR dash named assignments for those dates only. So it's only pulling CR dash assignments from the start and end date of their COVID-related leave, which is pretty neat. And that's one reason why you have that. Well, it's the main reason, actually. The only reason why you have that date naming convention is so it can be pulled this way in the sheet automatically. Then this area was the optional part for a teacher to do if they want to put in any percent correct notes or remarks. So this is optional for a teacher, just for them to keep track of completion of those assignments. And I use a little scroll bar here at the bottom. Just scroll over to the right. I can see there's a due date when the students need to have these assignments completed by, and a teacher due date when the teacher needs to have the sheet completed by. And these are automatically calculated based on when the student has returned from their absence. What a teacher needs to do, if I scroll to the right, is this right here, this overall assignment completion percent. And what you do is you click in that cell and type the overall completion number and press enter. So whatever that completion overall of all the assignments assigned to that student in this sheet, what percent is completed? It's a percent completed. And enter. It's not a grade, so it's not they scored, a 90% or they got a standard of a 3, but it's an overall percent of what's been completed out of that list of work. So you just type in the number and press enter. The next item, so really that's the only thing a teacher does in this, and then they put in their digital signature. So let me show you how to do the digital signature. And that's built in here in the Google Sheet. So you kind of click where you're gonna want this. Let's say I click right here. Well, I'll take this one out. I'll put it right next to the signature. That'll look nice right here. So I click on the cell next to the word signature, and then I go up to insert on the menu bar, and I go down to draw. So I'm going to use the draw tool, and you're going to draw your digital signature. So you're going to see me do it with the mouse, with my mouse arrow. But if you have the digital stylus, with the teacher a Lenovo laptop, you can take that out. It's touchscreen. You could sign your name as well. So how you do this is you do need to select the scribble tool. So up at the top in this little drop down where the line is, you're going to click the drop down and choose scribble. And you'll have a crosshair. And then you're just going to use the digital stylus on the touchscreen, or for me, I'm going to hold down the left mouse button as I move my mouse. We'll do this. Uh-oh, revert changes. There we go. Something happened. And it didn't like me today. All right, go back to scribble. There we go again. Sign in my name. And you would just continue to do that. And you would sign your name digitally. One tip we have is you can go up here to the arrow and just draw a box around it. And then you can select the thickness of your line. You can make it a little bit thicker if you wanted. So you can just go up here, change the thickness. And then once you sign your full name, just click save and close on the top right. And you click on it. You have the little arrows that you can drag to resize it. You can drag it where you want it to be. And there's your digital signature. So it's just using the insert and the draw tool to get that in there. All right, questions about the Google timesheet?
I have not seen any questions yet about the Google timesheet.
All right, and this thing will come again. It won't appear in your shared with me in your teacher folder until the student is present. Once the student is back from their leave and present, that's when that sheet has. A couple of teachers shared with me they did this, which is handy. So they found their folder, right? They went to shared with me. They found their teacher folder, and what they did is they right mouse clicked on their teacher name folder, and they clicked add to star. So they click add to star. What that means is on the left hand side, they just go to starred, and there's their folder always. So some teachers shared, well, I get a lot shared with me in my Google Drive. So once they found it in the shared with me, again, they right clicked, they clicked add to star, and now when they come to Google Drive, they just go to their starred and they see their folder. And it's always under star now. I thought that was kind of a neat tip. All right,
okay.
We got. Is this workshop to 1:45 or we have a little longer?
Good question. Let's see.
I'm okay. Take some more questions, and I think the next session starts at 2.
Yeah, 1:45 is when this one ends. But here's someone asked, can we just type in a signature as opposed to drawing it?
I don't think so, because it was very explicit for us to figure out a way to do a digital inking signature on it.
All right. And then I think going back to the assignments for a moment.
Oh, yes.
Can a teacher have in their CR assignment directions for the students to go back to an assignment that is on their regular Schoology page? So can they say, complete this assignment that's over in this other folder, and that's the directions that they're putting in the CR assignment?
I don't know.
I
know our friends in secondary have shared that there's a lot of students who are behind in their work or have not turned in past work. And I know they're going to try to put some of these activities as completing past work. I think that kind of is aligning to the question you had as well. So I would say yes, because as long as you have a CR- named assignment, that's what we're pulling. What the activity is and where the student's going to complete that activity could be in a different location. Yes.
That makes sense to me too. All right. Well, I think then there's a couple of individuals that I've told them that there will be some more information that will come out during the week through either the frequently asked questions or through the webpage. But I think we've got everyone's questions answered.
Wow, fantastic. Well, thank you all for joining Rachel. Fantastic. Thank you, Rachel, for being a fantastic moderator. And you got a little break. If you are attending, I think it's workshop 4 time slot. If you haven't done the Microsoft Teams within Schoology workshop, I encourage you to do that. You also have the time to work with your PLC or build this out with your colleagues or yourself today as well. Well, thank you everybody for attending.
Oh, Matthew, if we have time for one more quick question.
Sure.
Well, and this might be again something that needs to be followed up later with what is the product that the teachers need to keep for auditing purposes. So just what if it's in Schoology, we said if it's a Schoology assignment, something they complete in Schoology, then that counts as their product. But if they're directing students to go to other platforms, then we need to have some clarification on what that product needs to look like in terms of keeping records.
Yes, I agree. And I will bring that up for the FAQ and additional resources. That's a great question, and it does we need more information around that.
Okay, so the person who wrote that, you're saying we'll get you more information on that. All right.
Yes.
I think we're all caught up. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everybody. And check and definitely work with your school site admin as well, as we all work on this together. Thanks.